And just like that, they're back again. They're back again. Asking you to please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. So, Duke, back so soon.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday.
There's probably a reason for that.
Can I just point out 2 clips in your intro video now? See something new every time you play it. I find something new to talk about.
Well, you might have something else to talk about before you're very much older.
Just the Mark Noble clips, the one where he jumps on the back of Zamora after the playoff final against Preston. Just how young he bloody looks in that picture, and then fast forward to the one where he's leading us out, and you're just like,
mad, isn't it?
It's just ridiculous. Like, and so many years separate that. And someone posted yesterday, this is only one of 7 games left, Rob. Of that,
I know.
7,
and he might not play all of them.
He probably won't show in probably half the games we've got left, including, hopefully, fingers crossed, a bit more of an extended one in the Europa League. But I don't know how it makes me feel, mate. I really don't know how it makes me feel. We've kind of got old watching this guy play for our club.
Don't I know it?
And it's just like we've got 7 league games left of Mark Noble's West Ham career, and it breaks part of my heart, to be honest with you.
Do you know the scary part? When he made his debut, my boys, who are going to be 19 this year, hadn't even had their first birthday.
Oh, mate, don't even.
Yeah, I know. Should we have a look who's in the chat? There's a few people that are getting involved in the chat. Let's say hello and welcome to Kieran, all the way from Australia. Hope you're well, mate. Walsh is in the building. Hope you're doing well, sir. Darren, you're looking well as ever. Mr. Miles, yes, I saw you mixed with some highfalutin circles. It has to be said. They're all just saying hello to one another as it goes on. And Darren's just saying his Crocs and tats are well, which you obviously wanted to know. Should we get straight into it, old chap?
Let's go. Come on.
Okay, right. Just a little thing that I've decided to add, because it's something we don't talk about, and it's a really critical part of the match day experience, as we kind of touched on for the Europa League game. We probably should mention that the referee is Martin Atkinson. His assistants, or linesmen in old money, Lee Betts and Konstantin Hatzidakis, whatever his name is. The fourth official, he's the guy on the touchline. I feel so sorry for the fourth officials, Duke. I don't know about you, because they're standing there sort of like with the board, sort of like the end of the halves and doing the subs and all the rest of it. And as soon as something happens on the pitch, the managers start chirping off. I mean, you must sit there and go, mate, I'm stood here same as you. What are you going to pop at me for Christ's sakes?
I can't do bugger all,
So the poor sod getting shouted at is Simon Hooper. And the 2 Muppets, I mean, VAR and assistant
Mason
VAR, Lee Mason and Darren Cann. If you don't know who Darren Cann is, he's recently taken part in his 500th match as a Premier League assistant referee, linesman in old money.
Was Lee Mason the VAR ref, the VAR, when Souček got sent off against Fulham with the elbow?
I think it was, because it was Mike Dean that was the on-field official, wasn't it? And I'm fairly sure it was Lee Mason.
Am I right in thinking Martin Atkinson's the one that looks like the school teacher? They all look like school teachers.
They all look like. I was going to say they all look like school teachers. That is true, Milesy. That is true. A ripped pair of boxers. And I hope you're feeling better. I'm guessing because you went out and rubbed shoulders with the great and the good of West Ham past, that you must be feeling good enough. So that's progress, my friend, and keep it going. Wally's in the building. Hope you're well. How did you think Frederick played the other day? I dare say you're going to say he was man of the match, aren't you? It's just standard. So And Walshy's asking if you ordered your Ben Rama shirt.
Didn't need to, did I? Didn't need to.
To be fair, you don't know if there hadn't. I mean, it's the old "if my aunt had bollocks, she'd be my uncle" scenario. But if Cresswell hadn't have got sent off as he shouldn't have done, does Ben Rama get subbed at half time? Don't know. And who knows what he could have gone on to do.
For me, yes, he was. Yeah. There was a couple of good runs, but then just the final ball, mate. The football intelligence is lacking within the man. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do on that note. It's just he frustrates the shit out of me.
You're a non-believer. I think there's a few of them around. To be fair,
they're becoming more and more as time goes on. Like I say, I was in the ground I was at the game against Everton, and there was a lot of people that were turning. You know, you could hear it, you could feel it. And again, you know, I'm back there again next week for the Burnley game. Be interesting to see
claret and blue.
Be interesting to see how that one goes. But we'll cover that next week.
Yeah,
let's do this one now,
guys. In the live chat, I'm going to get my predicted 11s up. And please feel free to give us yours, formations, personnel. Give us as much detail as you think David Moyes will put out. And if you want to make a prediction of Thomas Frank's team, again, feel free. The chat section is there, and we'll get into it. First things first, though. Here is my prediction, Duke, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. It probably picks itself in a lot of ways. The goalkeeper coming back in will be Lucas Fabianski, I believe, and obviously the sending off against Lyon does not affect the participation of Aaron Cresswell in Premier League, so he will be available and he will play at left back. Ben Johnson, I believe, will be at right back, and it will be Kurt Zuma and Craig Dawson, who, despite a broken nose, I hear, I don't think that will bother him in the slightest. He'll just say, patch me up, I'm going out, and I'm going to give everything for the shirt as I did the other day. And he always does, to be fair. You can't ever fault him for effort, that is for sure. Declan Rice will wear the captain's armband alongside Thomas Souček, and then it will be 3 in front of them. I believe Manuel Lanzini will come back, and he will be the number 10. Jared Bowen will be outside him on his right, and Saeed Benrahma outside him on his left, or Duke's friend, as we like to call him on the channel. And Michael Antonio will be the number 9. Duke, I can imagine as you saw it and it said Benrahma on the left, you recoiled in horror.
I was shaking my head, sir. I honestly don't think he will.
Okay.
Look at that different picture. Going back to that one. I don't think he'll start. I think that Fornals will be out there. I don't think Benny will have that starting berth there. Lanzini will definitely come back in the 10, but Fornals will still play on the left. Other than that, I think you've nailed it. That's the only one I don't think will be there. Dawson is an absolute monster. Unless Moyes goes, you know what, Craig? No, have a seat out, son. Just because of that nose, I need you ready for Thursday. I don't want you to pick up something, and it just makes it more serious, and you can't play Thursday night. So, I think he'll definitely drop Benrahma. Benrahma won't play, and there might be that between Dawson and Diop coming in.
Molesy's put one up here. Let's get into this, guys. He reckons it's going to be Fabianski, Kufel, Diop, and Zuma. So he reckons Craig Dawson's going to get a rest, which I could see the merit in that. Cresswell, Noble, Rice, Vlasic, Lanzini, Benrahma, and Bowen. He says that's what he would play, not necessarily what he thinks David Moyes will play. To be honest, I could understand that. If I was picking a team that I would pick ahead of going to Lyon, then I might sort of shuffle the pack a little bit. The thing is that David Moyes doesn't show a history really of doing that to any great degree, does he?
No, not at all.
So I'm not entirely convinced that's what he will play. But I see what you're trying to do there, Andy. It's probably what I would do, in fairness. I just don't think that David Moyes will. But okay, so let's have a look at what I've said that I think the Brentford team will be. Now, let me get rid of that and go there. So full screen. So whether you say it's 5-3-2 or whether you say it's 3-5-2, whatever, David Raya will be in goal. Rico Henry will be the left back / left wing back. And Mads Roslev will be on the right of the defence, with Pinnock, Janssen the captain, and Aya taking up the centre-back berths. The central midfielders will be Janelt, Norgard, and Christian Eriksen, who I think at the minute has an awful lot of goodwill behind him because of what happened in the Euros. Absolutely fantastic comeback story for him. Then up top, it will be Ivan Toney and Brighton and BREWHU as the strikers. Duke, what say you?
You say he's got goodwill built up, and I agree, unless he puts in a performance tomorrow that absolutely destroys us, and then he can go fuck himself.
Just for a short period of time.
I mean, listen, that's a side that when you look at it on paper, shouldn't be doing as well as they are doing. I don't mean to be rude. You know, people have been banging on about Ivan Toney. I did as well. I think he's been okay.
Yeah, nothing special.
He hasn't set the world on fire. Same as Rico Henry. There hasn't been any real standout performances that, you know, would make me go, I'd take you. Yeah, I mean, they're just a side of they're a side of Craig Dawson's, Rob. Whereas they're not.
Yeah,
they go out and they put in the effort, and the effort is rewarded because of that. There's no standout stunners in there. You know, Christian Eriksen is on his way back. Time will tell how that can continue for him. I mean, I think he's outstanding, and I think he's a solid player in there. But they are they're a side of absolute workhorses, and I really do think that they're reaping the benefits of working hard as a team. Like I say, not the most naturally skillfully talented team in the world, but what they lack for in that is they make up for in the energy and the effort and just the grit and the determination.
Just sort of a couple of ones there. Kent saying that Eriksen should have been looked at by Mr. Moyes in January.
Couldn't agree more.
Do you believe?
All day long.
You wouldn't have been worried about what happened in the Euros.
Didn't need to. Have a look at him now. There was no need to be worried. Hindsight's a great thing. Yes, I'll give you that. But I don't. There was no reason to be worried. These players. Luck. I mean, we played against Lyon the other day, and there was a nice touch of the Marc-Vivien Foé that was mentioned by the commentators, and unfortunately, him and Eriksen, same situation, except number of years apart, and Eriksen survived, and unfortunately, Foé we passed away. Whereas, if Foé had been given the same sort of treatment and the same sort of, I know we were talking a good number of years ago, there's chances that he could have come back and have been playing, So,
Fabrice Muamba's another one.
Muamba's another one.
He never played again, but he survived.
Eriksen's making certainly the best of a bad situation, to say the least. So, but there's no one there other than Eriksen, really. That's a name that was always going to stand out.
Yeah.
I just think, I just think Kent's comment there. I'm not saying that they're not. They're not nothing better than workhorses. What I'm saying is they put in a shift. They're not, unbelievably gifted when you look at.
Are you saying that they're a team of Pablo Fornals, not a team of Saeed Benrahmas, if I might read your mind a little bit?
Yeah. It's the work and the effort that they put in. They're not a team of, like I don't even want to say Man United. They're not a team of Manchester Cities or Liverpools where they've got absolute skill and excellence across every aspect of their team, whereas that they put in a shift, and it's the effort that they lack in that kind of, for instance, Norgard and De Bruyne, or Ivan Toney and Raheem Sterling. What he lacks compared to Raheem Sterling, it's the effort and the work rate that he puts in. That means it's the team spirit, it's that the togetherness that they come back with.
Yeah,
that's
just
what I'm
want to
getting
sort of
at.
wind back at a couple of comments, and Walshy does also say they're the biggest bunch of time wasters going, and Kieran alludes to the same fact and says they're an average team. They play the game of time wasting worse than Leon. That was one thing that did frustrate me in the reverse fixture at London Stadium, that we lost 2-1 in the final embers of the match.
Fabianski.
Well, he was culpable for the winner, but they killed the game at every opportunity. And whether you say that's streetwise, whether you say that's gamesmanship, or whether you say that's blatant cheating, that's what they did. They got the result. We discussed it yesterday. I don't think that that's something that David Moyes would actively employ. He's just not got that in him. I don't believe he wants to win the game, but I think he wants to win the game in a certain fashion, and that's not it. Milesy says about Christian Norgard, he says he's a great talent. He's made over 96 tackles, which is 30 more than our first, Mr. Declan Rice, on 66. Fair point. I would probably say, though, that overall, if you put everything into the pot, I would suggest that Christian Norgard is an inferior player to Declan Rice overall, but certainly in that area. I mean, 30 tackles more than Declan Rice over the course of this season. He's done quite all right for himself there, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, so that's. Hold on. Oh, right. Okay. Bear with me. I'll tell you what, Duke, can you do me a favour? Whilst I sort that out, could you just do what you normally do and just talk?
Bollocks? Or,
Just talk bollocks. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I was just going to say, just going back to the fact that I mentioned, I coughed Fabianski's name there. It was that punch in the reverse fixture that, from that, he punches it back into a crowded box. Anyone that listen, I ain't a goalkeeper, I ain't a goalkeeper's coach. What I do know is you don't put the ball back into the danger zone. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, Areola, Fredericks, you could say, did the same Thursday night. It's irritating, it's annoying. But he did. He punched the ball back into the danger zone, and we lost because of that. There's no two ways about it. It's the annoying part of it. Part of the reason that I actually prefer Areola in goal. He commands his box a lot more. I think he's a lot more streetwise when it comes to those sort of clearances. And it's going with what Kieran says there. They employed that through the entire game at the London Stadium.
Pain in the arse, wasn't
it? It was, but again, it's the dark arts. If you want, it's the like you say, it's a momentum killer. And we couldn't build up any kind of head of steam. Put together a number of plays that put us close enough to the edge of their box to be able to cause some damage or some danger. And sadly, I think it's we're going to see more of it tomorrow.
Yeah, fair enough. So what else have I got for you to get your teeth into, you lucky people? So there you go. There's the Premier League form of Brentford, and also our Premier League form, and also our form in all competitions. Bit of a mixed bag for both teams, really, isn't it, Duke?
Yeah, I mean, I as I said to you before, it doesn't really matter too
Kieran's
much.
asking a question of you there, Duke, just to diverge. Should we give Areola a Premier League start tomorrow?
It just depends on what the contract signing was and what the deal in place with PSG is. Is it he has to play so many games? Is it Premier League starts? Is it games altogether? I don't know. I'd like to see him get the start tomorrow. I would, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. It's the Same as me saying that Fabianski will start in Lyon on Thursday. I don't see it. It's not. That's not what's going to happen. I'd like to see it, but I can't, unfortunately.
Has Fabianski done anything, though, to deserve being relinquished of the number 1 jersey?
Listen, he's solid. He's good. He's a good shot stopper, but I think so is Areola, and Areola is he's younger. He's probably reactions are a little bit quicker. That's no disrespect to there's no disrespect to Fabianski or to anyone of us that are obviously slightly older. We all know that the reactions of the youngsters are a lot better than ours. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Speaking of someone younger and better looking, I'd like to point out.
Oh, really? Really? I missed that memo. What's going on?
I don't know. I'm pretty old and ugly, to be fair.
How are you, Gonzo, sir?
I'm all right. I'm a bit chilly, actually. I'm a little bit chilly.
It is a bit here, actually.
Yeah, I was in the man cave playing a bit of pinball, and the prices of the electricity have gone up so much. I thought, I'm not going to heat it. I'm going to play cold. Now my hands are bloody cold. I was terrible. Absolute abomination, really. How are you both? All right?
Yeah, not good, bad.
All good.
What was the pinball machine you were playing?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, very nice.
Nice. It's kicking my ass, quite frankly. It's kicking my ass. And I actually started to lose my temper with it a bit, but then I had a reasonable game and blamed it on the cold hands. I'm actually going out to there's a nice cafe around the corner. They do a lovely bit of poached egg, so I'm going out there in a little bit and poached egg for lunch. Why not?
Why not indeed?
Bit of poached egg. I haven't had that in yonks.
Yeah, and then I saw you were live, and here we are.
What could possibly go wrong? What are your thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow, Gonzo?
I think it's going to be a really tough game. Not looking forward to it. Got to say, I don't look forward to playing against teams like this at all. It's I don't like to overly. I like to wind up Tottenham. Aside from that, I'm not one of these people that hates every team because I think you can't, what are you going to do? If you dislike everyone, you can't have a league on your own. Do you know what I mean? There must be other clubs that you admire, some you don't like, granted, and you've got some rivals. So it's not predetermined that I would dislike Brentford. It is purely built based on how they played against us earlier on in the season. I just don't like it at all. It's not for me, and I've made the point in my video this morning. If I see one of our players doing it, and Yarmolenko against Kidderminster, go and look at the review of that. I tore right into him for trying to dive and trying to, I thought it was disgusting. Actually, trying to cheat. They put a really good performance up, Kidderminster, and he tried to cheat at small little club out of their money, which could make them survive for the next 2 years. So it's not like double standards. I just don't like cheating, whether it's West Ham or anyone else, and I do think they're a bunch of cheats. Doesn't mean they're without skill, but cheats. I don't know if did you see the review that I did with Gio?
What, for the Brentford game?
Yeah. Well, Duke did. You're nodding, Gates. You didn't watch it, did you?
Yeah, I'm sure I did, but I can't remember it. I watch all your streams, for goodness sake.
No, I'm only joking. Listen, 41 minutes the ball was in play for. The average is 56. That's how bad it was. It seemed bad at the time. I'm not a man that goes scratching around for stats. I'm just not. I thought, hold on a second. Well, this seems weird. It just don't seem right. When you've watched a big match in play a lot, and that is Man City at their best. It feels that way. It feels like you've seen a game of football. 41 minutes. And when I went and checked, there's an article on it. If you go and Google how long is the ball in play for in a Premier League match, there's a whole article on it. And literally emblazoned across the top of the article as an example of how it shouldn't be done is Brentford against West Ham, October 3rd. So I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest, I've not seen Brentford that much in the Premier League this season. I don't know whether you two have seen more of them and whether you can bring anything to bear on this. I mean, was that just the match at London Stadium where they were falling over at every touch and just wasting time? Is that a one-off, or is that something that you've seen much more of?
Well, I remember sitting in the car having a radio on, and I remember the Arsenal fans phoning him. That's quite right, Andy. I remember the Arsenal fans phoning in and saying this is absolutely ridiculous how they're stopping the game. Now, the trouble is you get accused and you're an opposition fan of just being salty, seems to be the word. And the trouble is what that does, that stops the argument in its tracks. If they're just saying, oh, you just can't take it, then okay, well, that's fine. But let's have the debate on it. And the thing is, here's the thing. It all ties in. It's all Leon. It's all the same thing, right? So the foreign clubs are jealous, particularly the foreign leagues are jealous of the Premier League. And the reason they're jealous of the Premier League is for the television revenue we get. Well, that's easy enough for them to sort out. If they had even distribution in La Liga and didn't give it all to Real Madrid and Barcelona, they would, and had a better TV deal and distributed it, they would have a more competitive league. But that's the turkeys voting for Christmas. They don't do that. Okay. The other thing they're jealous of is the Premier League's popularity globally. So whilst a fan in Asia or Africa will tune in to the Barcelona Real Madrid game, they're not going to watch Barcelona against Getafe, right? But that same fan in Asia or Africa or whatever, or America, wherever it may be, just somewhere that's not England, basically, will tune in to Manchester United v Everton. And that's the difference. And the reason being, they know they're going to get a game. They know they're going to get a spectacle. In essence, it's worthy of 90 minutes of their time out of their weekend, because they will possibly see a competitive match. Maybe the examples aren't great in that. Now, here's the thing, right? The other reason that people like the Premier League is because it's fast-paced and the ball's in play and it's honest, and we don't spend ages rolling around on the ground.
Yep.
Now, the funny thing is, UEFA hate it. UEFA absolutely hate the sort of... They don't like us. I mean, you know, the English model and all the rest of it and the way the Premier League is. Yet rather than... And I actually thought they'd got it. I thought in the Euros, I thought finally the referees have been under instruction to say get on with it. I thought VAR had helped that. And I started to see, I thought, at least internationally, a brand of football, which I thought, well, this is similar to what we watch. This is similar. They're going to get somewhere here. And if they do that and they make it more competitive and there's less cheating, there's less play acting, then that might improve their game as a spectacle, right? Just as purely as something you watch. Because let's be fair, some of those games, if you've got a choice between a really sort of end-to-end Premier League game or a film, you might choose the Premier League game. If you've got to go back to Barcelona Getafe, you're probably going to watch the film because it's just going to be more entertaining, or whatever it is you go and do. And here's the problem. And this is why it's important that people are outspoken about this. We mustn't, having seen Aston Villa, having seen the way Southampton are playing, I don't sound like Michael Gay, and having seen Brentford, it's really important to our own game that we don't get into that point where we're dragging down the length of time that the ball is in play. We must continue to be entertaining, must continue to be fast-paced, must continue to be honest, and we've got to continue to allow a few more challenges that are a little bit more tasty that you wouldn't allow on the continent. There you go. That's what I think.
Well, did you not think the referee tried that on Thursday night at Pointstone? But it was their continued rolling around. Like there was a few challenges. I'd pick out one for certain was Dawson's, I think, second one in his trio of battering right at the end of the game, where he hit the guy and clobbered him. And he was left rolling around on the floor, and the referee just went, "Shut up, get on with it." And then Dawson made his follow-ons. Whereas a couple of issues in the first half, there was one with Boateng when he went down and they decided to drag him by his leg up and down the touchline for 10 minutes. Yeah, he was laying on the floor, rolling around, holding his leg. Even the commentator turned around and went, "Well, it's nothing to do with the head. That's why he's playing on." And I think he left it about 15, 20 seconds, looked over his shoulder, seen him still laying there holding his leg, weren't even holding his head. And the referee went, "Oh, no, we better stop it." And you're like, well, no, you tried to play on, ref. You can't now go back if it's, wait for the ball to go out of play. That, if the players then want to put it out of play, that's their prerogative. It ain't a head injury, so let's crack on with it. But then after those, he then started to go, "Oh, shit, he's gone down, quick, blow the whistle." And he was very trigger happy on that whistle to keep blowing the second that they hit the floor. And it was there was one point I was watching it on the TV in the pub, and you heard after about 10, 15 seconds after the tackle, you heard the player scream at the top of his lungs, and then the referee turns around and blows his whistle again. You're like, well, you're only blowing because you've heard him make that noise. It was Ndombele, and he got up. The referee blew the whistle, walked over to him, and he went, "Oh yeah, right, I'll get up there." And you're like, that's the irritating part for me. That's play acting. That's trying to, like you said earlier, mate. It's trying to get the game stopped for getting the game stopped just for that sake, to break up the momentum the opposition are building up. And that for me, I can't. I call it the dark arts. It doesn't mean I have to buy. I like it.
No, listen. Everything you said is correct. Obviously, I didn't hear the scream because I was at the ground. But I totally believe that. The thing is, I don't know if anyone here watches rugby union. I really like my rugby union. I just wish the referees had more. I wish they were mic'd up. And I wish they had a little bit more personality.
I love watching the rugby refs of Nigel Owens, Wayne Barnes. Listening to them communicating with. I know it's a different mentality. I know that the captains are sort of like yes sir to the referee and all the rest of it. It's a different mindset, but
it is. But the referee can set the tone at the start of the game, Gatesy.
Yeah,
the referee can set the tone at the start of the game, and he can go in. And I'm sure they do go into both dressing rooms. But he would, if I was a referee, I'd go in there and say, look, I'm gonna. Look, I don't want anyone to get injured in this game, so don't take this the wrong way. However, I'm only going to stop the game for head injuries. The reason it's there is to protect you lot from dementia later on in life. That's why this rule is in place. If I feel at any point that you are going to use that, which is a goodwill gesture and something that's really important to look after your health and later on in life, if I think that you're going to trick me, and I think you're doing it, and I'm going to come down to you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
All right. So let's keep this rule that's in place to look after you lot. It ain't me, by the way. It ain't me. I'll just run around with a whistle. That's what I'll be saying. But it's there to protect you lot. If I think you're going to take liberties with it, I am going to come down you like a ton of bricks. Do not try and cheat me. Do not try and cheat the opposition. Do not try and cheat the fans. All right. And don't. By the way, don't walk up and get in my face if you don't like one of my decisions. That's what I would be saying.
Yeah.
With that, and they don't. And I just don't feel they put any sort of personality on it. And so I remember a point with Kasper Schmeichel earlier on in the season. And he's a big guy and he was really leading up. I've got to be honest with you. I wouldn't take that. What's not stopped is encouraged. And stuff like that, I only bring Schmeichel into it because he's in my mind. Just would have turned around to get out of my... I would straight away, bang, there you go. That's for leading over me, mate. There's a yellow card. Yeah. And there's a warning to everybody else. Keep out of my personal space, And I'll tell you what I would have done. When the guy went off, and I think it was Boateng, for that, I would have gone back and I'd have said, mate, this rule, and he knows the rules, the ref, is for head injuries, all right? You've actually conned me then. So here's what's going to happen is, bearing in mind, actually, not only is your head all right, your legs all right as well, you're going to walk all the way around the perimeter of the pitch, and I'll let you back on when you got round to the dugout side.
Yeah.
Bang, cuts it out straight away, but they're not strong enough. And as I say, I would be up for that on both sides, by the way, for both teams.
Yep, I agree with you. It's the same thing with the Ndombele one as well. Like I say, he went down. He's there holding his leg. I'm pretty sure he was down for at least 30 seconds. The referee then stops play, comes back to him, and he hops back up, gesticulates to the referee, and the referee goes, "All right, drop ball, West Ham, go on over there. Away you go." There was no punishment for him. He's conned the referee into breaking up our play because he's out of position. He's been caught out. Yeah, it may well have been a foul. The referee's not deemed it so, but it's the fact that he then stayed down on the floor. The referee blows his whistle and walks up to him, and bop, he's up and he's ready to go again. Like you just literally, you've conned the referee. And like you say, mate, for me, that's. I'm not being funny. If Cresswell's getting the red for what he got a red for, that's got to be a yellow card. If you're trying to con the referee into a decision, then Bele included, then there's got to be some punishment for it. There has to be.
But that's what I'm talking about. Personality. It's then for the referee to turn around and say, "Did you just con me then?" Oh, you didn't con me. Right, that sounded like you were in immeasurable pain. Can you go off and get a concussion assessment, please? And then I'll let you back on. No card. If what you're saying is not con me, you were genuinely hurt. Go on. And let them. And he's gone. He's gone for 5 minutes while he has a concussion assessment. I'll bring you straight back on as soon as you get the all clear from the doctor. But that sounded really serious because you said you didn't con me. So that was a serious scream of agony. Clearly, we can't stop the play for a leg injury. Clearly, it was agony in the head. We need to get you checked out, mate. And that's what I mean. Just really, really important. I wish more players did get into refereeing. I really do. But this is, I think, this is prevalent in all levels of the game. I don't watched one the other day in my son's game, and I watched. I thought, crikey, the referee just didn't want to get involved. I thought, what, for a tenner? Why should he?
Yeah.
But these guys aren't earning a tenner. They're now professional referees. They get a really good income. They're on 60, 70 grand a year for doing a job that presumably they love, and they ain't paying any. They don't go to the stadium and pay for their grub. They're not paying for the train over there. They're being UEFA or the FA or whatever it is. They fly them around everywhere. Their money that they get, they keep. They've got to spend it. Oh crikey, the price of that pie. No, they're getting fed and watered and travel paid for. So I don't like it. I don't like any of it. But no one seems to want to have these. I don't mean us, but at the top level, no one seems to want to have these conversations.
You say about the referee being mic'd up, and I've heard the excuse given. Oh, if we did it, the people at home would hear the players swearing. I mean, I think that's a total cop out. What about you boys?
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I think the difference is the respect for the authority in the game. You said the guys in the chat have been saying, there is no swearing at the referees in the rugby. It is
there is
not as
but his name's Dylan Hartley.
It's the please, it's the thank yous, it's the sirs. It's a whole different aspect. Whereas you hear it on the telly where they're swearing, screaming, and that's just from the pitch side mics, And then you've got the commentators out. Oh, sorry if you had a bit of bad language.
Do you think that if the players knew,
do you
think
if
the players knew they would? Do you think if the players knew that the refs, the linesmen, the fourth official were all mic'd up, and everything you pick up is going out on broadcast, do you think that it would stop immediately, or it would at least reduce?
Well, firstly, not everything has to be broadcast. All right, that's the other thing. When the referee's running around in rugby, you're not. It's not like as he's sort of running back to keep up with play and someone's breaking away. You're not hearing the referee go, "Oh, crikey, that geezer was leg." You're not here. It is when the exchange happens, and it's so simple. It's so simple. All right. Yeah. Generally around the pitch, swearing, fine. But it's a really simple rule to make up. When the referee addresses you, you stand there quietly. That's the new rule. And you listen to what the referee is going to say. And that's it. And that's the bit that should be mic'd up. And I tell you what the bigger problem is, if actually a lot of the players were mic'd up, which they don't be, but it was picked up by the referee's microphone, you'd probably find that, I think you'd work out there'd be some players that you liked, their characters would shine through. You think, oh, he's quite good, he's quite funny, he's quite nice. But there'd be others whose glossy social media image, you might well find that actually they look like quite different people, and you may well find that they said things that might lose them their boot deals and stuff like that. But none of that is reason enough not to change the game for the better. And I really would like to see it, and then nobody can be under any illusion at all. Unfortunately, what it would also do, you'd also see referees you didn't like, because you would think, hold on, that's a bit pernickety. Should he be doing that? But there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. It would probably, in the end, increase the level of refereeing. The other thing with the Leon fella. Do you remember the fallout with Bellingham earlier this season?
No.
Okay. Bellingham basically got a ban. Bellingham got a ban in German football. And it is because he came out publicly and criticised one of the German referees. And you could guess which one it was. And basically Bellingham said in the post-match press conference, that was the worst refereeing performance I've ever seen. How is that guy refereeing, bearing in mind he's already been done for match fixing at some point in the past? And he got, I think he got 2 weeks' wages fine, and he was banned from the next game. And it was actually Dortmund, I believe, that did it before the German FA were able to deal with it themselves.
Yeah,
it's the same guy, the same referee.
Yes, it was. I
Yeah,
remember.
I read something after the game because Bellingham, he came out in solidarity, he gave his opinion on the red card, and then he said, like, oh, it's the same referee that I had a run-in with earlier in the season. Yeah, I read the article.
I just don't understand how a guy that's actually been convicted, and actually, he not just convicted, he actually held his hands up to it 3 years later, but he held his hands up to it and went, yeah, fair enough, I did it. How on earth has he managed to get to a point where he's refereeing a UEFA competition quarter-final? I just don't understand.
Or how bad is the standard that there are not 10 other referees at the top level in Germany who they can find that they have to use somebody who has already taken payments to fix matches. That's the other thing. If there was no one else left, I might understand it. Oh, crikey, we've got to use him. He's the only person qualified. I mean, what that says for the best referees in Germany at the level below, at the lower divisions, who are possibly doing a good job, and they're thinking, oh, hold on a second, I've been impeccable here. I'm performing well. I'm getting me decisions right. I've got a good team of linesmen next to me, and all the rest of it. Yet there's a guy there who is corrupt, who's ahead of me, and basically, I don't know, whatever, Bundesliga 1 or Bundesliga 2, whatever it is, but he's in the top Bundesliga and I'm down here. I mean, the whole thing's just stinky, but that's football for you, really.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, I said it myself. If you're a stocks trader or any other job, and you fraudulently do something, you're not allowed to do that again. So how is this any bloody different that he's now allowed to? And it's not even just that he's continued to ref. I mean, if he wants to go out and referee kids' games or non-league in Germany, that crack on. But you shouldn't be refereeing a game in any league or even in Europe where there are such high stakes riding on it. The people will. Let's be honest, it's happened before. It happened in Italy over a number of years. People will try and test you and your scruples and all the rest of it.
Of course.
Your morals. Well, we know this guy that has none. He's already been, he's already taken the bribe. He's already been, we know he does that. So he should be nowhere near games like this. Nowhere near games where there is so much riding on it. And he should know he'd be nowhere near the Bundesliga, where there's, games that can decide the seasons. And it should be nowhere near him. It's embarrassing that not only is he still refereeing in Germany, but he's allowed to referee big European ties.
That's a great point. Not just Germany. He has been assessed that he is one of the best in Germany. So he gets the plum jobs.
Madness.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely madness. Bring it back on the topic. Gonzo, who's for the Brentford game? Who would you say is the key player that we need to stop to maximise our chances?
Eriksen.
Yeah,
Eriksen. He's. I mean, not only is he brilliant, he's the catalyst of. He's the to quote a very famous film. He's the new hope. He is. I think he's galvanised them. I think it's. I think the whole club have bought into it. I think he's bought into it. How? You all know. Sometimes somebody gets so close to disaster or a loss of life or whatever it means. It makes you savour every single thing, right, in life. Forget football, but whatever. Something horrible happens, and you don't know if you're going to see the next day, and it makes you appreciate every. I'm getting all deep here, but every bird song, every walk, everything. It becomes a bonus.
Yeah,
and it pushes a reset button. I know plenty of people that have been in that situation. So for Eriksen, I bet every walk down the tunnel, every time he laces up his boots, every time he walks onto the pitch, it is just a joy to behold. He is probably no longer burdened with a desire to sign one more contract or get the next win bonus or get a medal. It's probably for him, just playing is enough. And I wouldn't mind betting that he gets, Imagine taking like I don't know. Imagine taking a conference player and put him in the Champions League or something. He'd be like all wide-eyed and like, wow, this is it. Well, I bet he feels like that all the time, Eriksen now. And that's a hell of a mindset to be taken onto the football pitch, just to be grateful for what you've got. And actually, I'm going to enjoy it every second because it'll end like that. And he probably feels like he can probably express himself even more. They're probably grateful to have him, and he's gonna be really, really difficult to manage. Again, we talk about personality with the referees and that, to put his personality onto the field of play, and it will express it in his footballing ability. And his footballing ability is excellent. It's hard to know what to do with him. You give him too much space, have a long shot. He's really good at that. Get too tight to him, he'll play a really, really cute pass and pass around you. So, and there's a couple of really good players in front of him. So, it's going to be tough, mate.
Duke, who's your one to watch?
It's exactly the same, mate. I rate him highly. I would love to have seen us taking a chance on him. Like Gonzo says, he's going out. There's probably no pressure on him. Do you know what I mean? He just goes out. He can, like you say, he expresses himself. And to be fair, he's been a joy to watch since he's come back, because he's just going out there and he's Mr. Cox. Can you leave off a minute? We're trying to do a video here, fella. He just goes out and he just does. Like you say, there probably is now no desire to go out there and win that medal, to go out there and have that one last big contract. He's just there going, you know what? Like the kid that gets to play for the school team, that first game that you ever play, that enjoyable moment. I remember after buggering my knee when I was younger, and I got to put the boots back on and play that third game that I never thought I'd play again. I was like, this is great. He's going out there every day living the dream now, and I guarantee you the pressure's off, and he will embarrass us tomorrow, I reckon, at points.
Can I just warn you, Gonzo, don't ever mention Manchester City versus Gillingham in the playoff final.
Manchester City versus who?
Gillingham, the 2-2 game where Man City won on penalties. Don't ever mention that in conversation with Duke.
I was never going to bring that up, and you started this. Don't like you anymore.
No, he probably hasn't heard the story, though, has he?
I've not heard the story.
He doesn't need to. Stop being facetious.
No, you might as well. You've brought it up now. Oh, no,
come on. Listen, I've got to go and have my poached eggs. So let's hear a story before I go.
Go on. You know you want to, Duke. Tell everybody.
I don't tell everybody, Robert.
No, tell me.
No, I had trials with Gillingham Football Club when I was 14, 15. And I had basically dislocated my kneecap. I went, flicked the ball one side of me, turned, the geezer ran into me, his knee hit mine, and my kneecap ended up on the inside of my leg. I would have signed contract with Gillingham. They were interested, but obviously with that damage and the injury, number of years later, Man City played Gillingham in the playoff final. I think it was Paul Dickoff scored the equaliser in the dying seconds. I could have been playing in that game. That could have been the game that I was playing in, and he wouldn't have scored that. I'm telling you now. And Gillingham would have been promoted. City would have been non-existent. Gillingham would have been taken over by the Arabs and the oil money, and that'd be how it is now. There you go, Robert.
Okay. Fine margins.
Exactly. But that's what he's on about. And bastard, I sat in the pub, absolutely gutted watching that game because I was thinking that. I felt bad, but hey ho, is what it is, isn't it?
Oh dear. Do you want to do a score prediction, gentlemen? Gonzo?
Yeah, I think 2-2.
Oh, Desmond.
Yes.
Do you think there's any chance that Moyes is going to put out a slightly weaker team with Leon on second leg on the horizon, or do you not see that?
No, me neither. Well, with Wolves losing as well. I've got some accumulator today. I tell you what, tuppence wins me £1 million, right? But there's some, there's games that the big clubs like Arsenal are meant to win today. Or is it maybe even tomorrow? It ain't, I mean, they ain't all. I don't think they're all going to do it. I think someone's going to slip up. I really do. The Wolves one was really big for us, by the way. I mean, really. Really big. If we can keep our form between now and the end of the season, I think that still allows us. Wolves aren't going to win every game between now and the end of the season, so that probably allows us to lose a couple, which we need that in the bank really. And that means we get European football next season, which is huge. So all our targets that we got now, whatever the striker, whoever wants this Nunes or whatever, they're all looking at us now because they'll know we're interested. Now thinking, is this team? Basically, I'll tell you how big it is. We get European football. I know we haven't won the league. I think we've replaced Leicester as the best of the rest. Because I think you do back-to-back European footballs, I think you say that, and that's massive in terms of signing players. I really do. I don't. A long-winded answer. No, I don't think Moyes will rest at all between now and the end of the season. You might find a little tweak or two here and there at full-back or something. By and large, no, and that's it. And that's why I said about the Ben Rama thing as well. I think now. That's it. With Lanzini's back, and I think he'll be back. I don't believe a word Moyes is saying because Moyes knows how important Lanzini is. But the moment Lanzini comes back, that's it. Ben Rama's just a sub between now and the end of the season because he will just play Fornells on the left wing because he just knows what he's going to get.
Duke looks really disappointed with that.
Listen, we all know how I feel. He's got all the talent, but he lacks the football brain to be able to do what he needs to do with it. And I said that if Lanzini's back tomorrow, Fornells hits the bench and not Fornells, Ben Rama hits the bench and Fornells takes that left because he covers Cresswell so well out there.
Yeah,
he literally is a workhorse. He covers the cliches. He covers every blade of grass. He puts in. You know, he's not the flair player that we bought that we saw in the under-21 championships. Rob, I said this. Moyes has now instilled that work ethic into him. He's not just a showboating talent player. He's one that will, he'll throw down and he'll stick a foot in. He'll do all the dirty work as well as, pick out that pass and be a fancy player when he needs to be at the right time.
Quite right. I agree.
Me and Darren have got a lot in common.
There you go.
He likes his Crocs. He was with the Jills as well. I love it.
That's a lot. You don't get much more in common than that. Really, let's be fair. Both those two things are really what makes it.
Listen, the Crocs. People that wear Crocs, we're a tight knit community. There aren't many of us.
No, so thank God.
There's a little WhatsApp group, isn't there? Crocaholics.
We have to stick together.
Yeah.
What's your score?
Crocaholics Anonymous, and we will fucking stay anonymous. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 2-0 West Ham.
Oh, he's going big.
I can see us. I think Dawson's going to kick a few people up in the air tomorrow. So, he might get away with it tomorrow. He couldn't really get away with it on Thursday night. So he's going to take his anger out on poor old Brentford players tomorrow and batter a few people. And I think we might just see a goal from Antonio. I did this about 18 times last season with Ben Rama saying he's going to break his duck. He's going to break his duck. I'm doing it now with Antonio. I've got to get it right at one point, and he's going to score at some point, isn't he? Surely.
Even a stopped clock is right twice a day, Duke.
Indeed.
Just saying. But I'm going 2-1. I think it's going to be a reversal of the match at London Stadium. I think they're going to score, but I think we're going to outscore them. I think we're going to win that 2-1.
I'll tell you what, if we do, it's game. I'm telling you now, if we can beat Brentford, then beat Lyon, I'm having a party from now until the end of the season.
I might not come back from Lyon. I might just stay there.
Yeah,
might take another week off work. Stuff it.
Quite right too. You're off, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, that's me done. I go back the day after Easter Monday. So disappear off to Lyon on Wednesday, come back on Saturday. So
nice.
Yeah, I just got to sort of convince the locals that I'm French. What could possibly go wrong?
You've got that look about you.
Just get a beret, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Let's
just pretend that I'm deaf.
Racial stereotypes. You get some garlic around your neck.
All the stuff. All the stuff. Yeah, dress up like Clouseau. Yeah.
Carry a couple of baguettes around. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like I say, what could possibly go wrong?
the full stereo. Yeah.
On his bike with a basket at the front.
Absolutely. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That would be funny to go with a full stereotype.
Oh.
Do you think they'd notice?
No, you wouldn't blend in. I don't think you'd blend in. You wouldn't imagine doing that and find out. Actually, that's exactly what it's like. There's millions of them with the onions and the garlic around their neck, the beret,
the sort of like little jumper with the stripes,
the stripy top, and a basket at the front of the bicycle full of frogs. Oh crikey, they're all doing it. Look, bonjour, monsieur. Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Brilliant.
morning.
Yeah, crikey.
Oh,
crikey.
God.
I was pissing by the door.
Yeah, it'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Terrible.
But funny nonetheless. Right, I've got to go.
Yeah, well, we're going to wrap it up there, mate. So
see you, boys. Right, I'm going to. Where do I leave? Can you kick me out, please?
Duke, if I must.
Take care, mate.
Look after yourself. Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Cheers.
I've kicked him out. I feel terrible. I feel terrible that I've kicked him out.
Oh.
And you're on the wrong side. So let me just sort that out.
Yeah. Oh,
that was nice of him to drop in.
I love talking to that fella. He's brilliant. I've got a lot of time for him. He gave me my first go on a YouTube channel, I have to say. And look at me now, just over a year later, talking shit.
So it's his fault.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. We can blame him. It's fine.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. I'm just going to have a look and see.
Citroen 2CV.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Does it get any worse?
Oh, horrible cars. Look crap.
Oh mate, upside down skip.
I was going to say a sort of like an upside down pram.
Horrible, but built like a brick shithouse.
Have I got a ticket for Leon? Yes, I have. But I might not be where I should be.
Oh, right. Yeah. Literally, then that fancy dress. You've got to just... I'll pick you one up. There's a fancy dress shop, I think.
That's fine. It's fine. I know I'm not the only one that's going to be there.
Oh, no,
shouldn't be there.
No different to the game at the London Stadium at the weekend when the Chelsea Pratt and the Tottenham Pratt decided to go running on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them, but I mean, I don't know whether they were, whether they weren't.
Well,
but it is what it is. Yeah, probably they're where I am. So
anyway, you're sharing the same ticket. You're going to be on each other's laps, stacked up.
God, I hope not. Well, there's 5 of us going. There's me, my younger brother, and 3 of his mates. So, yeah, should be fun.
At least if there's a big enough group for you, you can celebrate. So, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Might not get the shit kicked out. Yeah. Good night, my friend.
Take care, mate. Right. Before we wrap it up, is there anything you want to say about the match tomorrow before we knock it on the head?
No, I think we've covered it. To be fair, should be like Gonzo said. You know, a win tomorrow really does cement us in that top 6, top 7 spot. As I said, the lowest we could probably go would be 8th, with Wolves being the team that would be the 1. And you know, Wolves lost last night, so it really does give us the impetus now to go top 7. Like I said to you the other day, I can't see Leicester. I can't see Leicester picking up enough points that they're going to bother us with that 9th spot. So top 8 was almost nailed on. Now we're looking at top 7 with them slipping up there, and they're probably going to lose a couple more, like Gonzo said. So I just think if we can win tomorrow, it kind of hopefully cements that top 6, and then we kind of hope that Man City win the Champions League or Liverpool win the Champions League, and then you've got one of them 2 winning the FA Cup with a bit of luck, and then they win the league as well, and then all of a sudden, I think 18th might be able to get some sort of European Conference League bloody place because the amount of the way that the league goes. So, yeah, I think we can, and just touching on what Gonzo said about, the other players looking at us as being the best of the rest, it also gives Declan Rice a conundrum to come up with, that if we can bring in some of these players that are looking as us as the best of the rest, well, we can go from being best of the rest to fighting our way into that group a bit like Leicester did. Then it gives Declan Rice that thought of, well, hang on a minute, I could be part of something massive and something special here with the players coming in. So then it just means that he might not end up asking for that move.
He's not going anywhere in the summer.
I've told you this.
He's not going anywhere in the summer.
But
he's staying
tomorrow.
Absolutely.
If we can get that win tomorrow,
I think we're going to do it.
Yeah, I do.
That is a huge, huge win. Right. Okay. Before we wrap it up, then, ladies and gentlemen, my usual little bit of housekeeping. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. That bit's really important. I keep saying it. It really is important. It really does help the channel out. 16 of you guys, if you can just take this link from YouTube, pop it onto your Facebook, onto your Twitter, onto your Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and just say to your West Ham followers, go here, click subscribe. It helps out, really does. And don't forget to like the stream, because that helps out the old algorithms. As I say, I know I say this every time, guys, but seriously, please, you don't realize how much it helps. It seriously does, and we do appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you do and hit that bell icon. And when we start talking all things West Ham and much more besides, you will be notified. Just having a look who's in the chat, just saying goodnight to Kieran. Peter says 2 from the top and 1 from the bottom. Rachel. Ooh, Rachel. Mind you, she's taken now, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah.
Come on, there's 15 watching and only 13 likes on this video. Come on. If you've not liked it, hit the like button. Come on.
Hit a like on it. And don't, like I say, where it says share, copy the link, put it onto your socials, and say, any West Ham followers, follow these pair of prats. They occasionally
because essentially that's what it is, isn't it?
Yep, pretty much.
Prats, you know.
And we occasionally get joined by YouTube royalty.
By West Ham royalty, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there.
Speaking of West Ham royalty, did you see your Twitter inbox this morning?
My Twitter inbox?
Or our Twitter inbox?
Oh, yes, I've responded.
Good man.
Yep. Man. Wheels are turning. Listen, mate, I'm like a swan. On the surface, I appear like I'm bobbing and serene and I'm, calm. Underneath, I'm paddling.
Yeah. A bit like me downstairs behind the bar, mate. Exactly. Make it look easy.
Before we do go, just in case there's anybody that's watching that is anywhere near the Lewisham Tavern tomorrow. Not tomorrow, because it's not on the telly, is it?
No, but I will try and find a way of putting it on my laptop illegally.
I was going to say you could rock up to the Lewisham Tavern and watch it, but you can't.
But that being said, those that are at a loose end without tickets to go to Leon on Thursday, get your backside to my pub. Let's make some noise here. I got told off by my staff on Thursday for going a bit.
Colin's retired. Mind you, he said it before.
Yeah, no,
Colin. So, good lad. Right. I'm going to bugger off. I'll get rid of that banner. So, Duke, what are we, old son?
We're massive. Absolutely fucking massive.
And we're coming to Brentford to take the 3 points.
Always.
Come on, you Irons.